Kagura. The waifu that Hayabusa and Hanabi are simping over for obvious reasons. But we aren't here to talk about Kagura's juicy, scrumptious thighs. Oh no. I'm here to give a small guide on Kagura, and explain why she's still a viable pick in today's meta. I'm also sick and tired of people underestimating Kagura, so I'm hoping I can show people how strong Kagura is. Once you master her, you'll dominate. Not that way. With that out of the way, let's dive into this delicious guide by yours truly, Merrills. Let me get something out of the way. Kag's got 2 sets of skills. One set with her umbrella and one without. So in total she's got 6, but technically it's only 5 skills because her first skill remains the same in both forms. Still with me? But the show must go on now. Let's begin with the actual guide. Every time you pick your umbrella up, you'll stun enemies for a short time. So be sure to throw this weapon of destruction at the enemies to stun them. It's also important to remember that this has a cooldown. 5 seconds to be exact, so don't dive enemies without your passive. Kagura throws her umbrella in a designated area, dealing magical damage to enemies and slowing them. Do not auto-aim. Please do not auto-aim this skill. You have to aim this skill if you're gonna be good at Kagura. It's really useful for pissing off the enemies by poking them from afar, which is what you're mostly gonna do. One important thing that I wanna add about this skill is that you could throw your umbrella into a bush, using it to check for enemies. If you're expecting an enemy gank, you could leave your umbrella in a bush like a ward. Kag dashes away from the umbrella, leaving it behind. This blink is also a purify, which is a big satisfying fuck you to all forms of CC. You can also dash away during Kaja's and Franco's ultimate startup. If you walk a certain distance away from the umbrella, you'll automatically get the umbrella back, triggering her passive. You could phase through most of the game's terrain and walls, so utilize that to your advantage. Especially like this when someone is chasing you. Kag teleports back to her umbrella, triggering the passive. You can get stunned when you don't have the umbrella. Skill 2 also works as your main combo starter along with skill 1. This skill is also good for juking the enemies and escaping by using skill 1, and then teleporting to the umbrella using skill 2. Skill 3 with Kagura spins in a really pretty flower that deals minimal damage, but it knocks back enemies, so it's got that going for it. You could use this to push enemies off of you or your teammates. Kagura's second ultimate damages enemies that are closer to the umbrella. Despite doing massive damage, a link is formed causing enemies to move slower. Additionally, after 3 seconds enemies will be pulled back into the umbrella, causing them to get stunned. This ultimate does wonders during team fights, but it's also good whenever you're focusing a single target. Because Kagura's first skill is a long-range ability, you could throw your umbrella towards the enemy's backline, inflicting massive damage upon their mage/marksman. Here's my personal emblem. Now of course you could choose different talents, but I prefer and suggest you choose Magic Shop since it gives a discount on items. And more importantly, you're able to get core items earlier. I like having more cooldown over movement speed, because the CD on Kagura does wonders. Despite the extra damage that magic worship provides, it's not really noticeable. And I only choose Impure Age when I'm going against tankier enemies. Builds heavily depend on the enemy's lineup, and you should always adjust your build in order to counter the enemy's build. My personal build consists of these lovely items. With the new jungle update, I tend to build the magical jungle item first, but I will eventually sell it once I get more items. I tend to always use demon boots, but you can also take arcane boots for the extra pen, or the cooldown reduction boots. Thunder Truncheon synergies well with demon shoes because of its passive. It also gives good damage in the early phase of the game. My third item is usually Necklace of Durance because anti-heal is important. It also provides some magical lifesteal. The next item I'll build is a penetration item, and this is for 2 reasons. 1. Athena's shield was buffed in the latest patch. To put it simply, it's stronger and has a higher magic resistance, so you'll need the magic penetration early on in order to work around that. Second of all, it gives you more power. You could choose between Divine Glaive or Genius Wand. Both are fine in my opinion, but I prefer Genius Wand for its movement speed attribute, plus it looks prettier if you ask me. The next item that I purchase is Holy Crystal. This increases Kagura's power altogether. For the final item, I always purchase Winter Truncheon for its defense stats. Its unique passive helps you in the later phase of the game when everyone has their full build. You could also do a lot of fancy stuff with this item, like in this clip. This item is great when you combo it with your second ultimate. Kagura is the queen of combos. This is because of the amount of skills she has. You could create your own and use different ones from different scenarios. The main combo you should learn is 1-3-1-2-3-1. The only spell you should take with Kagura is Retribution, since you don't need any escape skills since she already has tons of mobility. Retribution will also help you farm faster, which result in you getting stronger. Some other spells that you can consider are Execute and Flame Shot. Whenever I'm supporting as Kagura, I will always take Flame Shot over Execute or Retribution. Kagura's first skill has a long range, so remember that you can poke your enemies from afar at ease. You're able to move when you cast your first skill. Her ultimate does wonders during team fights, so don't keep your ultimate to yourself. Her ultimate can hit enemies in the bush, so by map scrolling, you could finish off enemies hiding in the bush. Try to get used to throwing your umbrella where enemies might be, but remember that you can get stunned. Her damage doesn't scale off in the later game, so if the game does manage to last over 20 minutes, be sure to focus their squishes. Kagura, like other mages, is squishy and is susceptible to forms of CC whenever she doesn't have her umbrella. She relies on the blue buff if you aren't building demon shoes or any mana item in general. Heroes with blinks counter her second ultimate, so try to bait their blinks by poking them with your skill 1. Kagura is easily countered by items such as Athena's shield and Rose Gold meter, so try to get your core items as fast as you can before people start to build around you. To sum up everything for the very last time, Kagura is a hero who deals tons of damage from a safe distance. She is capable of farming fairly easy, so you'll be racking up kills quite easily. She has great mobility and is able to trick her opponents whenever she's low on health. If you want to learn a hero who isn't banned in high ranking and performs well compared to meta mages, then I highly suggest Kagura. Well, that's it y'all, you guys can leave. Hahaha, imagine. I hope you learned something from my Kagura guide. I know I'm not the best player, but I just wanted to make a guide for anyone out there who wants to play Kagura. Thanks for watching and have a good night.